So if you're in the world of skilled nursing, you've definitely heard the term QAPI. That's quality assurance and performance improvement. And yeah, it's a regulatory requirement, but it's supposed to be way more than just another box to check. Today, we're going to dive into how you can make QAPI really stick to turn it from just another program into the actual culture of your building.
Does this sound familiar? You spot a problem, you put a fix on it, you move on, and then, boom, another fire pops up somewhere else. It feels like you're just constantly running, putting out fires, but you're not actually getting anywhere. You're just spinning your wheels, right? Well, that feeling, that's a classic sign of an old-school approach to quality.
And this right here, this lays out the huge shift we're talking about. We're getting off that old quality assurance treadmill. That's the reactive world, the one where we're always blaming bad apples, and it feels like quality is only the job of a few people. The new way, this QAPI culture we're aiming for, is all about being proactive. It's about making the whole system better, focusing on our processes, and realizing that quality, well, that's on all of us.
So here's how we're going to break this all down. First, we'll take a closer look at that quality treadmill. Then, we'll talk about the better way, which is QAPI. We'll get into why leadership is so crucial to driving the change and how literally everyone has a role to play. Then we'll tackle the big one, moving from a blame culture to a systems culture. And finally, we'll talk about the payoff, because trust me, it's worth it.
All right, let's kick things off by really digging into what we're trying to leave behind. Let's talk about this quality treadmill and why being purely reactive just doesn't cut it anymore. You know, traditional quality assurance, or QA, it's all about looking in the rear-view mirror. Something goes wrong, a standard doesn't get met, and QA is basically the post-mortem to figure out what happened. It's all about checking for compliance after the fact. And here's the real kicker with that old model. As soon as the issue is fixed, everything just stops. The paperwork is filed, everyone goes back to business as usual, and we're all just kind of holding our breath, waiting for the next problem to flare up. It's not continuous, and it's definitely not about looking ahead. Okay, so that's the problem. And that brings us to a much, much better way. QAPI isn't just some new government acronym. It's about taking quality assurance and pairing it with its powerful other half, performance improvement. So what is QAPI, really? At its heart, it's a proactive approach that's driven by data. The goal isn't just to fix things when they break, but to constantly be looking for ways to improve quality of life, care, and services. And here's the part that matters most. It involves everyone at every single level of the organization, from the CEO's office to the front lines, all the way to the resident. I love this chart because it just lays it all out so clearly. You see QA on the left? That's reactive. It focuses on those bad apples, and it's seen as the job of just a few people. But then look at PI on the right. That's proactive. It focuses on making the whole system better. And the responsibility? It's for everyone. QAPI brings these two together to create one powerhouse quality engine. Now, a shift this big, well, it doesn't just bubble up from the ground floor. No way. It has to come straight from the top. And that's where the governing body, your leadership, comes in. Look, the regulations are crystal clear on this. Leadership isn't just suggesting QAPI. They are responsible and they are accountable for it. They're the ones who have to define the program, keep it going even when staff changes, and, this is a big one, give it the resources it needs. That means time for staff, the right equipment, proper training. But maybe most importantly, they have to build a culture where every single person feels safe enough to speak up about problems without being afraid. Okay, so once leadership has set the tone, we get to the real magic of making QAPI stick. This is about getting absolutely everyone involved. I'm talking from the person at the front desk all the way to the residents themselves. And this quote, this just hits the nail on the head. Think about it. A housekeeper who thinks their job is just to clean things is going to do exactly that. But a housekeeper who gets the why, who understands that their job is to make a resident's home clean and comfortable, that's a whole different level of care, of quality, of effort. So what does that actually mean for every single staff member? It means, first, just recognizing you have a part to play. It means going to the trainings, following the policies. But it's also about being proactive, right? It's about keeping your eyes open for ways to make things better, sharing those ideas, and just backing up this whole culture with your actions every single day. And listen, it's not just about staff. We absolutely cannot forget the most critical voice in this entire conversation, the resident. The QAPI regulations are explicit about this. You have to have real, effective ways of getting feedback from residents and their families. Their input isn't just a nice-to-have, it's essential data for finding where the real opportunities for improvement are. And that brings us to what might be the single biggest, most important mental flip you have to make.
It's about getting out of the blame game and really starting to think in terms of systems. We have to start caring for the whole orchard instead of just hunting for a few bad apples.
This visual just says it all, doesn't it? On the left, you've got the blame approach. You're just pointing fingers, trying to pin it on someone, but you never actually fix the real underlying issue. But on the right, that's the systems approach. You take a step back, you analyze the whole process, and you find the actual root cause. Your solution is targeted, it's effective, and it's built to last.
You know, this incredible quote from Dr. 𝗪𝗟𝗍𝗬 just gets right to the point. He says, the biggest thing holding us back from preventing errors is that we punish people for making them. If people are scared they'll get in trouble for a mistake, what are they going to do? They're going to hide it. And if mistakes are hidden, you can never, ever learn from them. The goal is to build what we call a just culture, where a mistake is seen as a chance to make our system better.
So here's the game plan. The most important shift is just to change one simple question. When an error happens, we have to stop asking who's to blame, and instead, we have to start asking, why did our system let this happen? That one change opens the door to a real root cause analysis, which lets us design fixes that actually improve the whole process so it doesn't happen again.
So you might be thinking, wow, this sounds like a lot of work. And you're right, it is. But why bother? Well, because the payoff of building a true QAPI culture, it's huge. There are real, tangible benefits for absolutely everyone.
I mean, first off, and this is the most important, you get better care and a higher quality of life for your residents, period. But it also gives your caregivers a sense of fulfillment. They're not just cogs in a wheel anymore. They're active partners in making things better, and naturally, that leads to happier staff and less turnover. Oh, and yeah, your surveys will improve, and you'll have a serious competitive edge. At the end of the day, quality is everything.
So let me just leave you with this one thought to take back to your team. Is your organization still stuck on that old treadmill, just hunting for bad apples? Or are you, and I mean everyone, from leadership to the front lines, ready to start improving the whole orchard? Because honestly, the answer to that question will define the future of quality where you work.